Good morning, YouTube. It's me, Ray George Page, aka. I'm sorry. I was so busy. I've been busy doing a lot of AKs. I need to stop in there. But just say good morning, YouTube. This is me, Ray George Page. Coming to you live on YouTube. I got this news yesterday. I saw it, and it's sad news. Especially me. I'm a child of the '80s and '90s. I grew up in I think the best years of TV. The TV era. I know a lot of some of you Gen Zs and millennials wouldn't understand this, or care, but people who are who were born from my generation, people of my generation, and maybe the little generation after, we recognize this gentleman here. This is one Mr. Willard Scott. And Willard Scott is a legend. Growing up as a kid, I remember, my mom used to watch the news. And we watch the news a little bit. And he comes on and he used to give the weather. And he was one of the greatest weathermen in the world. I mean, he was entertaining. He was thoughtful. He just had a heart. And we called him our Uncle Willard. And I respect that. Yeah, he was kind of had that uncle feel to him. Anyway, sad news was that he passed away yesterday. And this man is just a legend, and he needs to be recognized as often as I should do. Like I said, last week I did the video for Ed Asner because I grew up watching him on television, and as a performer and as an actor. And this man I also watched on television. Well, my mom was more CBS and she was NBC, but every now and then she'll pop it on depending on who was on. But Mr. Scott, Uncle Willie, like best way to call him, was born in Alexandria, Virginia, March 7, 1934. And, he grew up with his family. He went to college. And he was just one of those amazing people. Now, he started his career in around about the 50s as on television and as a commentator. Now, he was with the NBC network for years, years dating back, before television really started really revving up. And also, before some people didn't know that he was original Bozo. If you remember Buffalo Bob and Howdy Doody, he was the original Bozo. And also, he was the original Ronald McDonald. And he created Ronald McDonald. He worked for McDonald's and he betrayed Ronald McDonald. He often would do shows and specials. He traveled. He even did the Jerry Lewis shows. Remember, Jerry's Kids, and he would come as Ronald McDonald. But later on, he started, also did some other stuff. He had other little TV shows he did over his career. But most notably, he became one of the most famous weathermen for the NBC Today show, and one of the longest running, morning shows in the history of television. And he had a career for nearly, I'm going to say, over almost 50 years, given the weather, saying, and just being, just a colorful character, his suits and his flowers. I mean, he just was a genuine person, a class act. And often, he was considered one of the most recognizable people in the news world. You got Tom Brokaw, you got Brian Gumbo. You have right here Barbara Walters in the back. I mean, some legends that he's sitting there shoulder to shoulder with. And, and the Today Show, he's been seen like from the years of Gumbo and Jane Parley to, the Deborah Nova years. People like to forget about those. And, up to the modern era of Katie Couric and Matt Lauder, and even to point to up to this time, this Gene Shalit, Gene Shalit. Everybody remember Gene Shalit? That's a legend in his own right. Always talking about movies, and his relationship with the network was so strong. Even when he finally kind of retired and gave the reins to Al Roker, he supported Al. I mean, both of them being two big bald men, and this is beautiful that people genuinely loved him. And, he was just that fun-loving character. He's just a great man, a comic, a clown. And he told stories and, and he just had the love for people and people loved him in return. And also, I remember as a kid, he used to always come on and, he still, for a good while, he was still doing like every so often. I think he had a long-standing relationship with Smucker's Jams, and he often announced the birthdays of people who were like 100-something years old. And even this is when his birthday got announced. I think it was around about his 80-something birthday at the time. I mean, he just was just a lovable character. I mean, you see ladies will want to hug him and give him a kiss. I mean, especially older ladies. And he was just, like I said, he was a clown, just generally entertainer. And also he was, even though he was an actor. As you know, if you grew up like me, you remember the series on NBC, the Valerie Harper series with the family, where he played the next door neighbor, Mr. Poole. For a while, didn't see him for a good long time. So the episode where the Hogan family's house burnt down, he made a guest appearance, and he made quite a few guest appearances on the show, throughout the years before the show ended. And he was just that lovable character. I mean, hear him with Fozzie, waka waka waka. This is just crazy. And like I said, relationships with the likes of Jane Pauley and Katie Couric, and also, a good long-standing relationship he had with Al Roker, who took his place. And he didn't, like I said, he was pretty much semi-retired. Every now and then, he'll come on for a special or something like that. Like, I think they had the anniversary some time ago, and he just was supportive. This is, I think, the last time they were talking to each other. And they had a good friendship. And he was married to his first wife, Mary Dwyer Scott, for practically 40 years, to her death in 2002. And then later on, he met his second wife, Paris, and they were married for at least 6 or 7 years to his passing away. And also, he's a father. He has 2 daughters, his daughter Mary and his daughter, I think, what was his daughter, their name? I want to make sure. Yeah, he had 2 daughters. One was married, named after the daughter, and the other was named, I forgot the name of the other daughter. I remember he just mentioned every now and then. But he was a loving father, a loving grandfather. I remember this is a time when he revealed his bald head. That was crazy, because for a long time he always wore a wig when he was on television. Then he finally decided, you know what, he had enough of it. It was just, he was getting to the point where now everybody knew he was fake, but he didn't care. But that's what made him so lovable. I mean, it's just a genuine talent he was. And to have lost him, to love him. And for those, like I said again, many of you who do not, who not grew up in the era I grew in of television, who are not a fan of him, I understand, because that's you. But me, myself, and many people who are before me, and some people that are after me, will remember him as Uncle Willard, and always will love him, who he was, a generally good-hearted man, a charitable man. I mean, maybe I might be wrong, but sometimes I think it might be true. So, like I say, I want to wish one Mr. Willard Hermit Scott Jr., good day and good morning, and you're in a better place, and know you with your Mary and your other friends that remember you, will always remember you. Goodbye, Uncle Willard. It's me on the way, George Page. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.